Welcome to the 15-Minute Podcast, the best 15 minutes of your day. Today, Leah is discussing grief and the grieving process from a biblical perspective. Our hope is to give encouragement to those who are grieving, especially those grieving the loss of a loved one. But first, here's Alex for a good news story.
This good news story is about a Hollywood Hills couple who want to find the Good Samaritan who helped save their longtime home and possibly their entire neighborhood when the Sunset Fire tore through the area. Vince Brocato and his wife Candace watched helplessly from afar as flames threatened their cherished home. They had been monitoring the situation through their Ring security camera when a stranger suddenly appeared on their property. Not knowing if he was a vandal, Vince called out in a loud voice, "Hello, can I help you?" The man informed him that his house was on fire and that there was no fire truck around. Fortunately, he and another firefighter managed to extinguish the flames using the couple's garden hose. Candace proclaimed that their quick thinking and determination prevented what could have been a devastating loss, because if their house had gone, it's likely the neighborhood would have gone too. And that's our good news story for today.
Thank you for that report, Alex. It's nice to know that there are still strangers who are willing to reach out and help others in their time of need. And now, here's Leah discussing grief and the grieving process.
Grief is a universal human experience, raw, real, and often overwhelming. It comes in many forms: the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, the loss of health, a dream deferred, or even a drastic life change. Grieving is not weakness. It is the natural, God-given response to loss. Grief is not a punishment. It is a pathway. Grief is deeply personal. There is no right way to grieve and no set timeline. Some wounds heal slowly. Others remain tender for a lifetime. Yet God never asks us to face grief alone. He meets us in our sorrow and gently leads us toward healing. When we grieve, we often struggle with questions like, why did this happen? Where is God? Will I ever feel whole again? Perhaps the best response to these questions is to merely tell the Lord, God, I'm hurting, and I need you here. Now let's discuss 5 biblical principles for healing. First, lean into God's presence. Spend time in prayer, in worship, and in Scripture. These are not magical fixes, but healing environments. Second, be honest about your pain. God honors authenticity. He never condemns people for grieving. Instead, He offers comfort, compassion, and community. Third, surround yourself with support. God often works through people. Seek out godly friends, counselors, pastors, or support groups who can walk with you. Fourth, fix your eyes on eternal hope. For believers, death is not the end. Our faith assures us that we will see our loved ones again. And finally, allow time for healing. Grief doesn't have to define us forever. With time and God's help, the weight lifts. Healing is not forgetting, but finding peace. It is learning to carry love forward without being crushed by the loss. Perhaps you're not grieving, but you know someone who is. One of the greatest gifts we can give someone who is grieving is our presence. Not our answers, not our advice, simply our loving, patient presence. Here's what you can do. Be there. Sit with them. You don't need the right words. Your presence says, you are not alone. Listen to them. Let them talk about their loved one or their feelings. Don't try to fix it. Just listen. Acknowledge the loss. Say their loved one's name. Recognize the significance of their grief. Offer practical help. Bring meals, help with errands, babysit the kids, or mow the lawn. Pray with and for them. Let them know you're interceding on their behalf. Follow up regularly. Grief doesn't end after the funeral. Check in weeks or months later, especially on anniversaries or holidays. Be careful what you say to those who lost a loved one. You may mean well, but your words may not help those who are grieving. Avoid saying things like, "They're in a better place," or "God must have needed them more," or "At least they lived a long life. You have other children, you can get married again," or "Everything happens for a reason," or "I know how you feel." Instead say, "I'm so sorry for your loss," or "I can't imagine what you're feeling, but I'm here." Instead of offering explanations, offer empathy. Instead of rushing them to heal, remind them that it's okay to take their time. Grief does not need to be solved, it needs to be shared.
Thank you for those words of wisdom, Leah. It's important to remember that grief is one of life's hardest valleys, but we do not walk it alone. The Lord walks with us, and He often sends people to be His hands and feet. Whether you are grieving or know someone who is, may you find comfort in the truth that God is with you, and He will never let you go. And now for my favorite part of our podcast that will hopefully make you laugh, because laughter is good for the soul.
Breaking up fights is rough, man. They don't train you to break up fights, you know? I remember one teacher at my school, she dislocated her shoulder trying to break up a fight. So during the teachers' meeting, you know, I asked the principal, I said, "Hey, how come we don't get any training on breaking up fights?" You know what the principal said? "Come on, you're teachers, use your instinct." Isn't that a weird thing to say? Because what if your instinct tells you to put $5 down on the big girl, right? Now he's all upset. "I can't believe you only put $5 down on that girl. You know she's undefeated. Come on now." Very difficult job. Subs have it the worst, though, man. At my school, we used to run through subs. There was a sub at my school. She quit before she finished taking attendance. Took a cigarette break right in class. "I don't even care no more." Took a cigarette break, left. Assistant principal goes in, grabs all the kids. They usually disperse them into different classrooms. They brought all the kids to my room. So, "Mr. Baxter, can you watch the kids for the rest of the period?" I said, "Fine, bring them in." They come in my room. They only have one period. So I said, "Hey guys, listen, we're gonna do something fun. We're gonna play Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it, nothing hard. It's gonna be fun." The kids were like, "This is whack. No." I was like, "All right, listen, whoever wins a bag of Snickers." Because I had a bag of Snickers in my desk for about 2 years. I was trying to get rid of it anyway. They were like, "Yeah!" So I split them up, boys against the girls, which you should never do. They get too competitive. You know, the boys was like, "You know what I'm saying? We gonna win them Snickers, you know what I'm saying? Those is our Snickers, you know what I'm saying?" Then the girls was like, "Oh, we gonna be on Instagram with these Snickers, hello," right? So we start playing this game. The most intense game I've ever seen in my life, Jeopardy. States and capitals, that's it. We're playing this game, kids are sweating. I've never seen that happen before. Sweating. 30 minutes into the game. Scores all tied up. It's 0-0, right? I'm confused because I let them use the books. I didn't understand. I look at the clock, the bell's about to ring. So I say, "Listen, I'm gonna ask them the easiest question in the world. What is the capital of Massachusetts? Because we're in Massachusetts." Before I can say, "Take your time," this girl jumps up. She goes, "Ooh, I know, it's the letter M, hello, give me them Snickers," right? "What's the capital of Massachusetts? Hello. Give me them Snickers." Then she started high-fiving all the girls on her team. They're celebrating. And when I seen this, it almost made me laugh. You know what made me laugh? When I looked over at one of the boys, he was like, "Oh man, I knew that one. Come on now." That was on the tip of my tongue.
Today's deep dive is all about what I call grace in the mess. It's about times when you're living, let's say, not so good and feel there's no way out. But God sees things differently, and when you turn to Him, He lifts you out. Here's Susan and Keith discussing grace in the mess.
You ever feel like you're stuck in one of those deep, messy nights where every little mistake just adds up? Like you wake up in this apartment that smells of regret and microwave noodles?
Yeah, I've been there. That imagery really hits home. It's like every tiny decision, every slip just stacking up, isn't it?
Exactly. It's not about one catastrophic choice. It's more like 100 little ones that slowly shift us off course. It's like falling asleep at the wheel and then waking up in a ditch, still
right.
shocked.
It's jarring, and yet here we are, trying to live with that mess. How do you even begin to untangle such a web of regret?
Well, you know, sometimes there's this quiet voice that sneaks in amongst the chaos. Not a voice of guilt or mocking, but one that simply says, I see you. It's like a lifeline, assuring you that even in the worst moments, someone or something recognizes your struggle.
I find that really powerful. It's like when you feel alone, that whisper reminds you there's a grace out there that doesn't care if you've got it all together.
Right. Grace doesn't wait for us to be perfect. It meets us right in the middle, in the worst chapters, and boldly starts rewriting the story. And there's this promise that even if you feel broken, you're still seen as worthy.
But don't you think that's a bit too forgiving sometimes? I mean, some might say you need to face every consequence head on instead of waiting for a miraculous rescue.
I get that, but the thing is, facing every consequence head on can drain you. This isn't about excusing mistakes. It's about acknowledging that even when you mess up, there's still hope.
I see your point.
It's like being told, I've already begun to restore what's broken, which is both gentle and empowering.
That restoration aspect, where the voice says, I can move mountains, really flips the script on our self-doubt, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like instead of saying, you ruined everything, it's saying, I still call you mine. The message is transformative. Even if every day feels like survival, you're not being abandoned to it all.
Totally.
It's hopeful, a promise that every minute counts in carving out redemption.
And that call, come with the mess, come with the guilt, it's almost an invitation to embrace our whole selves, regrets and all, without having to be perfect first.
Exactly. You know, it's like you acknowledge you walked into the mess on your own, but you're not going to walk out alone. The voice, the promise, that God who sees me holds the map
inspiring.
for a way forward, even now.
It really reminds us that our past isn't the full story. Even in the darkest moments, there's light waiting to be found.
Right. It all speaks to the power of redemption. No matter how many mistakes or how deep the regret runs, there's always a path toward restoration, written in bold ink in the very middle of our mess.
It's time for our thought for today. When C.S. Lewis, a famous Christian author of the Chronicles of Narnia, lost his wife to cancer, he was devastated. His grief was raw and deep. He questioned God, wrestled with doubt, and poured out his heart in his journal. Later, those writings became the powerful book A Grief Observed, which has helped countless people process their own losses. Lewis didn't hide from the pain, he confronted it head-on. He allowed himself to feel, to ask hard questions, and to seek God even in the darkness. Over time, his faith deepened. He didn't get over the loss, but he grew through it. Unlike Lewis, the legendary singer Whitney Houston faced many painful losses in her life, but instead of finding healing, she struggled deeply with substance abuse and emotional isolation. Her pain, layered with fame and pressure, was often masked by the spotlight, but it remained unresolved. Tragically, Whitney never fully recovered from her grief, and it contributed to her downfall. Her story is heartbreaking and a powerful reminder that even the most gifted people can be overwhelmed by sorrow if they don't have safe spaces to grieve and heal. So the thought for today is, encourage those struggling with grief. Let them know it's okay to wrestle with God and to feel broken. Remind them that faith isn't the absence of sorrow. It's the courage to keep walking with God through it.
Conrad, this just goes to show that grief touches everyone, famous or not. But healing becomes possible when we're honest about the pain and open to God's comfort. Whether we're walking through it ourselves or supporting someone else, grace, patience, and presence can make all the difference. Well, that's all the time we have for now. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up button, and leave a comment telling us what you would like for us to discuss. Until next time, from all of our crew, we wish you a blessed day.